connections was there. But I went on a date with him recently, and he had made a comment pretty much like, like, I'm feeling you, but in a few months, I really don't know, and I don't want to hurt you.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're talking to you guys about Ready to Love, and we're dealing with episode 7, and we're speaking specifically about whether Sabrina set up Shawn to fail in front of her friends. Yes, did Sabrina set up Shawn to fail in front of her friends? Why would she do something like that? Well, let's talk about it on this particular review. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification, the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right, cool. Let's talk a little bit about it. So with Sabrina and Shawn, we know that they had a discussion some weeks back, last week or whatever, where they sat down and Shawn spoke to her and said, listen, look, I'm in the midst of not really sure if I want to have kids or not. And this is where the conversation comes in. It's like, I'm not sure. I do want to have kids, but I'm not really kind of sure 100%. I'm willing to kind of just be open about it. And then he said, obviously, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to drag you along, etc., right? Now, if I remember correctly, this conversation that they had was about kids, right? It was not about about just him not feeling Sabrina or him changing his mind in a few months' time. If I remember correctly, the context of the conversation was specifically about kids and changing his mind and hurting her and dragging her along. So he wanted to make sure of the comments that he was making. So when Sabrina then sits in front of her friends and makes his comment, let's see.
But I still want you to meet him because it could still be a situation where I'm jumping the gun.
There's no comeback. Like if you drop that comment, there's no comeback. Your friends are now going to have a negative aspect or a negative outlook on Shawn. And that's the honest truth, right? And people will only do this when they really are trying to sabotage the thing, okay? I think Sabrina was trying to get rid of Shawn in a very polite way, okay? Don't want to call him off, don't want to kill him off, but politely, gently use friends as a third party to kill him off, okay? Because that comment was half empty. It needed context from what we can see, right? Because it might have been edited. But from what we can see, she left out a whole chunk of information as to why he made that comment, which is why the friends asked him, why did he make that comment? And he had to address it later on. So for me, it's like, again, it's the question's asking Sabrina, why did you do that? Why did you set a man up to be shot at and fired at by the firing squad? Because your input of information here changed the way they saw him. And this is what's really important. What you say to your friends are going to determine how they sculpt and how they feel, how they think, and how they judge somebody on first appearance. Now, of course, Shawn didn't help himself in certain aspects. We'll discuss that a little bit later on. But just initial premise of actually seeing him, the actual reason why they had this conversation was because he had said that about the kid's situation, right? And that he might change his mindset in a different way. Okay. For me, I think that's cheeky. I think that's a little bit sly, right? Because you sent the man to the gallows. But then again, they may have, I don't know if they had a conversation behind the scene to do that way. But for Shawn, listening to him later on, it sounded like he was already done with the process. Like people weren't moving at the pace that he wants them to. He was pretty much done, right? And he didn't like the fact that obviously the friends came at him a certain way. He felt like the friends were, like I said, turning it into a firing squad. But what he doesn't know is the information she provided before that is actually the cause of the situation. It's not just because they didn't like you, but that was a cause because she had brought, she had brought some information to them that made them look at you differently. What was also interesting was talking about bills. I don't know if I can bring that up a little bit later on, the bill situation, because that also was a big influx. Let me see if I can get out.
Probably not strong as with her.
Probably.
That was another thing I kind of missed as well. That was a really important part scene, right? If you like somebody, Shawn, okay, you can't be saying probably not as strong as her, right? Like probably is leaving an open chance. Yeah, I don't have any. Yeah, I'm not going to say yeah, I don't have any, but say yes. Listen, this is one of my strongest connections, right? And I really have a strong connection with her. You don't have to say that. You don't have to say the strongest. You don't have to say the best. You don't have to make it clear that she's an absolute leader in your pack. but you say a statement that's going to be showing some confidence. The statement of probably going to be, yeah, probably going to be a connection. Let me roll it back for you so you can have a little listen to it as well. It's uninspiring.
Probably not strongest with her.
Oh,
Probably.
let me go back a little
It was
bit.
kind of awkward. You know what? I can't save nobody that keep digging a deeper hole for themselves.
How many women have you made connections with?
So that was the initial conversation and question. How many women have you made a connection with? And he says 2, right? And he says probably not as strong as her. Now that probably is a problem. Is a problem because it shows no confidence in any either or. Like even if you said the other woman, you'd have shown some level of confidence and chosen a side. But with the comment that he makes, it's as if, bro, like probably it's like you nonchalant, and you can't be nonchalant when you're trying to express that you like somebody. That's like a red flag for somebody. Let's have a look.
And how strong are those connections?
Probably not strongest with her.
Probably.
It was so chill. It was too chill. It was too lackadaisical, and it caused them to even be more antagonistic towards him, because it's like now you're just like kind of you're coming here, you're not really even on it, really. Do you know what I mean? You got to show a level of attention, but also show a level of wanting and desire, right? Do you show that level of wanting and desire? That's the key question, and we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that level of wanting and desire. And that is a problem when you're going to be sitting there in front of friends. I'm not saying he had it easy, okay? But we've got to show that want and desire. I also want to talk about as well the comment that is later on when they grill him a little bit. Let's have a little look.
Actually knowing what I want and expressing what I want before I engage deeper with somebody.
I'm sorry, I just want to back up for a minute.
All right, so we just jumped straight into the part where they have a conversation. This is where they actually grill him. Okay, I'm gonna roll it back a little bit before, because the girl's gonna ask the question. But that was just a little snippet. He was trying to explain what kind of woman he wants, and it was just like, bro, like you're digging holes for yourself, bro. The way you're answering the question doesn't give anybody inspiration that you're already here for Sabrina. This guy basically said, I'm gonna do a checklist form and fill out the checklist, and I don't really care what I go on. Let's have a look.
Had previously. You guys went on a date and you had made a comment about you felt like you had a connection with her, but you didn't want to hurt her in a couple of months, hurt her.
So this was a throwaway comment that was made a little bit by Sabrina earlier on as a preface to the conversation. This is why everybody in the friendship group is hostile, because they made a throwaway comment. Now he's going to answer it. And listen to the answer, because that's really important, because that will give you an idea in terms of what the conversation was about.
Feelings, or so what exactly did you mean by that?
My whole thing, especially during this process, to be upfront, as actually knowing what I want and expressing what I want before I engage deeper with somebody.
So he expresses here that the reason why he's saying that he doesn't want to hurt nobody is because he wants to make sure that he's going deeper into the relationship with people. And I actually get that. There's a truth to that, in the sense of you want to build emotional connections. You want to build, a relationship with people. You don't just want to be able to just date them and it be done. You really do want to build a level of communication, a level of depth, a level of growth with one another. And I get that. You want to be attuned to one another. So it makes sense. There's nothing that he said there that was off key, but it's just the fact that the preface in question is about him making a comment about hurting her potentially in the next few months. That's also uninspiring, right? It's also uninspiring. So if you get shot down now, Shawn, I can't do nothing about it, because your answers are non-inspiring. Your answers are basically saying, I don't really care about being here.
I'm sorry, I just want to back up for a minute. The comment was, you don't want to hurt her a couple months down the road.
So another comment comes. Okay, so the friend is obviously doubling down now as well, and this is where it gets a little bit touchy for Shawn, because now the friend is doubling down and trying to, I wouldn't say come at him, but again, he's pressing the issue to try and get him to answer a question, right? And the friend is obviously seeing that, okay, the way you're answering the question, you're not really answering the question, and you're not really addressing the issue at hand. Do you actually hear the question? Because if you did, you wouldn't answer the way you did. Because he's sensing the nonchalant, he's sensing that Shawn is not answering with the vim that needs to be answered with. If you're really feeling our friend Sabrina, come correct. And I'm gonna push you to see if you're gonna come correct or you're gonna show us you ain't really about it. Let's have a look.
If you're being upfront, then you can't hurt someone a couple months down the road because you are upfront with what you want and you're being very transparent. So,
and this was also a good point, right? Because if you're being upfront, how do you hurt someone down the road? Well, you're right. How do you hurt someone? Well, someone can still invest in you, but you're right. If you're honest and open, then the person's responsibility of getting hurt is on them because you've been honest, you've been open, and as long as you haven't been playing, they have a responsibility to look after themselves. You can't look after them. They need to be able to assess the danger and say, hey, I'm kind of falling here, or I'm kind of feeling some type of way. That's their job, right? Your job is to be honest and be truthful and be integral to the process as well, right?
make it make sense for me.
Hey. Fella, real G's don't say make it make sense, all right?
Like, are you just using that to play the field?
As a way out.
No.
See how the conversation is flipped because the premise of the question is around the fact that he may be hurting Sabrina in the future, which is what Sabrina heard. But I don't think she heard the context of the conversation. I don't know if she was paying attention to the context of the conversation, or maybe she did, and that's just how she feels. But I think she caught the wrong end of the stick, as they say, because the way that he is seeing the situation, the context is different to what it is. But again, how will he defend himself? That's the most important thing. How will you answer this question? Because it then tells us where your mind's at. Let's have a look.
Yeah. So if it don't work, I told you 2 months, I might be out of here. It sounds like you're running game. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm just being honest.
That was not good.
And that's the truth. It's gonna sound like you're running game because you're saying about how you in a few months' time you might be hurting her. You don't want her to be hurt in a few months' time. That is game. You're basically giving her the pre-warning before you move mad. That's essentially what you're doing. That's what men who are moving like F-boys normally do. They might give you a pre-warning. Hey, look, do you know what? I told you I'm not going to try to be in a relationship. But they're doing everything that a relationship would do. They would do everything a partner would do in a relationship. But they're saying, hey, I already told you I'm not invested in being in a relationship. And then you get caught up because they have shown you action. Maybe not words, but they've shown you action, right? And that can be confusing for the individual person.
I felt so bad. Is he getting ready to cry? Because I am.
I don't know why Sabrina's getting ready to cry. You set him up. No one else set him up with that question. You set him up with that question. You told her friends that. So they're going to be, if they're true friends, they're going to be loyal. They're going to be tigerish. They're going to move the way they need to move to protect you from what they see as danger. So
Just being honest.
Shawn had entered into a firing squad.
what person wants to enter into a firing squad when they're trying to meet your friends? Nobody. I'm not meeting your father. I'm not meeting your mother. I'm meeting your friends. And your friends give me the 3rd-degree burn. Now, some people's friends are like family. So what can happen is some people can replace family and give the same treatment that a family member would give. And bear in mind, we know that she looks after her parents due to the illness. Maybe that's what's happened here, that the friends have become almost like parents in the way that they look out for her, right? And that's, again, I'm not even saying that's wrong or right. I'm just saying maybe that's what the dynamics are, right? And in this particular scene here, when they talk to Shawn, I wanted to give the context. I wanted to...
I'm not going to let that happen again. You would have thought I said, I'm going to...
Let's go back, sorry.
I've been down this road before. I've let things that may be an issue fester. So it may have been a poor choice of words when I say, I don't want to hurt you down the road, but I...
Again, he's not really explaining it. He's not really explaining it. And that's the problem. He's not really explained what his true intentions were. But I'm going to speak about the fact that having the kid situation, right? I mean, all I can say really to this is that, listen, I'm not saying necessarily that Sabrina intentionally did it, but she kind of intentionally did it. Well, I mean, what are you going to say? What would you say in this scenario when you omitted information from the situation, right? What you heard there when I showed you the clips was all about him trying to explain the situation, but he eventually goes on to say the reason of the context of that conversation, right, is really about having kids. It's not about you know, just him saying he's gonna hurt her. It's about kids. So this whole situation for me felt like a setup. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's not how they treat Walter. And I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying Walter was obviously her pick. Clearly. Okay, so I don't know. What's your thoughts, guys? Do you think that Sabrina set up Shawn? Because, you know, in the scene of the show, she did kind of omit information and present it in a certain way. And that's what also caused the firing squad to start shooting bullets. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We want to know your thoughts around this issue. Appreciate you guys.